YouTube people, what's up? Welcome back. My name is Tino. I'm a barber. I think about hair a lot, do a lot of nerding out on hair, but this one we're just talking through a list of the 7 most common men's hair care products. So we're gonna go in order of the highest amount of hold, which means how much it holds your hair in place, to the lowest amount of hold. So first up on our list, we've got gels, right? So actually, let me talk you through the list of what we're gonna go through first. So we got gel, pomade, balms, butters, moisturizers, conditioners, and oils. So we're gonna talk through those, what the differences are, because sometimes that crap can get a little bit confusing. It's confusing to me. So gels, they have the highest hold. You put those on when your hair is wet, and it stays in place like I don't know if you can think of like an old movie like in the 60s and 70s where you see people slick back, grease, it holds in place, it gets hard to the touch, and then you can't really move the hairs around. So pomade is not as hard, but it does hold hair in place. So that's the second one on our list, the pomades, right? So that holds the hair in place, but it's more pliable, so you can still move the hairs around. In both of those, you can get in matte, and you can usually get them in a shinier style too. So we got those, and then balms. Those hold hair in place, but not quite as aggressively as a gel or a pomade. So a balm is usually a mixture of oil, butter, some type of wax, and an essential oil. So it's usually those. It doesn't always have to have all those different components, but in order for it to have the high amount of hold and not be a pomade, it is kind of in between those, in between a pomade and a butter. So a butter, so you hear about like mango butter, you hear about shea butter, you hear about coconut butter. So you hear about coconut oil too, but when it gets colder, it turns into the butter in solid form. So that's what the butters are. So they're lighter than a balm, but they are not as light as a moisturizer. So a butter is usually a solid form, usually made up of just a butter or a butter and an oil mixed together, where they're still in a light, fluffy, solid form. So hope that makes sense. Moisturizer, that is a mixture. So when we're talking about moisturizers, we're talking about something that hydrates your hair, right? So it adds water. Moisturizer has water in the product. So moisturizer is usually a mixture of water, some type of oil, a butter, or a conditioner that has water in it, that adds water into your hair. So leave-in conditioner is kind of on that borderline between a conditioner and a moisturizer, but that's where we're at. So the next one on the list is the actual conditioner. So when you think of the difference between a moisturizer and a conditioner, I want you to think about slippage. So you got a bunch of hairs, right? They get a little tangled. Sometimes they're rough, moving up against each other. When you add the conditioner, they start to flow easier. It makes it easier for it to comb through. It makes it easier for them to lay down. You can take a comb through your hair when it's conditioned really well, because the conditioner makes the hair follicles, the outside of the hair follicles lay down, right? So it makes it easier for them to move around and be manageable. So conditioner slicks down typically the outside of the follicle. It makes hair easier to manage. The moisturizer adds moisture into the follicle and seals it in. So slippage, conditioner, moisturizing, hydration, moisturizer. And then the last one on the list is oil. So there's different types of oils. Some oils penetrate more and hold the moisture into the shaft, or they can penetrate when there's no moisture in the shaft and keep moisture from being able to go inside of the hair. So some oils penetrate and some oils sit on top of the hair follicle, right? So the shinier oils, some of those you see like the coconut oils, you see some of the ones that sit on top of the outside of the hair, those are the shinier ones. And then when you get into jojoba oils and things like that, those penetrate a little deeper into the shaft and don't look as shiny and leave you with a more matte, not quite a matte finish, but just a more moisturized look without the shine and sheen. So oil sheen sits on top. That's when you see people with super glossy afros, or when you spray the oil sheen. Back in the day, people would spray oil sheen at the end of every haircut, and you have like a puddle of oil sheen around the floor on the barbershop where people slide around. I went off on a tangent, but that's what the oils do. They sit on top. So just to recap, we got the gels, highest hold pomade, high hold as well, but more pliable. You got the balms, so that's an oil with some type of wax or something to make butter, with some type of wax that will make it have a higher hold. So you hear about beard balms, it kind of hold beards in place. Butter, light little balm, seals in the moisture, and doesn't have the wax typically. Be used as a moisturizer if you add the water ahead of time. Like you missed it, boom, add your butter, sealed in the moisture, and then the moisturizer has those two combined. It's got the water, it's got the butter, the oil, or the leave-in conditioner. All be a different moisturizer. Conditioner, add your slippage, and then the oil is oil. So it either penetrates or sits on top, like the oil sheen that can get on the floor and get really slippery, or make your hair really shiny. So hopefully this was straight to the point. Let me know what questions you have about these. I will talk to you down in the comments or on the next video if there's something that needs a video. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Appreciate you checking in, and thanks again. See y'all. Peace.